It's not very often that even a hugely popular anime film or series gets a live-action adaptation. Does that unique origin produce a flavor I enjoyed in Cowboy Bebop's Netflix series premiere? Stick around and I'll share my thoughts. I'm Peter Franson from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of Cowboy Bebop, the Netflix series premiere, Episode 1. The synopsis on IMDb reads, a ragtag crew of bounty hunters chases down the galaxy's most dangerous criminals. They'll save the world for the right price. And I'll add to that we've got basically in the main character, Spike, a bounty hunter with this tragic past that we see little glimpses of in flashbacks, but I think they're going to really be developing that over the course of the series. And he's built this new life in mercenary work. He's got a buddy who owns a ship that he's kind of traveling around with, and they're doing jobs, taking bounties that lead them around space into crazy, humorous, and dangerous situations. It's a stylish, quirky action comedy series, I think, with a few beats of drama here and there. I think it's selling itself much more on style than story. It has tons of style, with jazz music as the tonal foundation for everything, whether that's foot-tapping bebop in the action scenes or slow and sultry saxophone to sell the noir vibe in other scenes. It, I think, is exactly what the title very subtly suggests, a mashup of the Western with cowboy and detective noir genres, with, bebop being kind of a reference to jazz that might kind of allude to that a little bit. Now, this tone can work for me, or a stylized, quirky action comedy kind of thing can work for me, but it needs to lean harder into something than this premiere did. At least one element of the several that they were kind of combining here. That could be more, even more quirky and clever humor and clever dialogue, which the dialogue wasn't doing anything that was really unusual and striking to me, or especially clever and weird, in the humor. It could be in the stylized fight choreography, which there is a lot. There is a lot. And I'll talk about that in just a little bit, about why it wasn't quite, as much as I'd like it to be. Or they could juxtapose the tone, which is largely a light one, with really brutal violence. And they do have some bloody, brutal violence in here, but I think if they leaned into it more, then we'd have these two contrasting elements of the light, stylized tone of so much of it, and then this really shockingly brutal violence. I think that would make it more memorable and interesting to me. It pulls off, I think, a mix of all these things more than any TV show I've ever seen before. So I definitely want to give it props for that. I'm not even sure a live-action show has ever tried to do something as stylized and production-heavy as this before. All I can compare it to are movies that have done something similar. It's not a style I usually go for, so that's important to keep in mind. And when I do, I like it executed just more strongly, just more intense and more exaggerated in all of the things that it's going for. I'm probably asking too much, given that this is a TV series, but fair or not, that is what it would take to hook me. And even if it did, I might find that I would prefer a smaller movie-sized dose over a multi-episode or multi-season TV show. As far as the cast goes, the cast is all fine, but also I don't think they're being asked to emote realistically here. So much of the storytelling is about camera angles and punchy editing and stylized music and visuals, so much so that the acting is relatively not a chief contributor, even though I think they were all doing a fine job. Let's see here. As far as the stunts and visuals go, I mean, it's really impressive on all fronts in this regard for a premium TV show. And I don't mean that as an insult. It really is impressive on that level, especially in just the sets, the costumes, the fight scenes, the combat. It's all very striking, certainly for a TV show. And I will say that now and then the actors maybe don't seem quite as smooth or at home or comfortable or fast or capable in fights and the stunts as in, like, say, big action movies that are really leaning into this, putting a lot more time and money into this and creating a shorter, tighter experience. This is going for, I don't know how many episodes, but, basically a series. But I suspect that many action fans won't mind that. For me, though, action isn't impressive or intense or impactful to me unless it has drama backing it up. And they focus on style so much over character and emotion in this that even the stylized action scenes really felt boring to me. Now, as far as themes, is there anything of moral, philosophical, or spiritual significance going on in the themes of this thing that might trigger some worthwhile thought or conversation? I don't really have any comments here. When I'm bored, I'm least likely to engage with any intended themes of entertainment, and that was the case here. Although I did skip over my usual comment about music and sound, and I do want to say that the soundtrack is a major component of this. I'd mentioned that before. Lots of jazz music of different styles, a really pretty broad variety even within just the family of jazz. And so, I think that if you're a music lover and that really affects tone for you, that's certainly worth mentioning. So I don't want to neglect that. But since I have no idea what your tastes are in TV shows, I'll just say that if I were a time traveler, I'd go back in time and say, Pater, skip this one. The trailer looks like it's going to be stylized and maybe be quirky and funny enough in its humor that it will do something good for you, but the dialogue, the punchlines and stuff, they really just kind of fell flat, didn't feel very creative or unpredictable or whatever. And so this just isn't for you. Wait to pull the trigger on that month of Netflix until later in this month, or maybe in December, actually. This might be a great fit for fans of Disney's take on Star Wars in recent years that maybe want more style or more quirkiness added to their light and fun space sci-fi action, but it's just not the show for you. It's rated TVMA for language, violence, nudity, gore, and smoking. That might be a ratings description for the entire series, because I did look away a couple times just because I got distracted by some stuff, but I don't remember any instances of nudity. There was some skin that was shown in some flashbacks, but I don't remember actual nudity. Anyway, those are all of my thoughts for now on Cowboy Bebop Season 1, Episode 1 on Netflix. I would love to get your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and click that bell. I want to thank Spirit Blade Insiders for making this review possible. You can get info about the benefits of becoming an insider over at patreon.com/Spiritblade Productions. Then I hope you'll check out our podcast and stay connected to all CGC content over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth. Hey, I wanted to let you know there are some dates below in the description of some live events coming up that you may not want to miss. And also, while I have your attention, check out my playlists to see some content that maybe you missed already that you'll be glad you found. That's all.